back, and that was good. We love that movie. And does it feel like you've heard the word Charlie 170 times? Because you did. That's amazing. Boy, I think this is the only time Joseph Cotten gets to be the bad guy ever in his career, and I think he really liked it. He was excellent in it. I think that was really good, especially when he talks the crazy talk. And again, the charming villain, which we see a lot in these movies, where he's completely believable and yeah, very well done. I think they had fun doing this one, so we will get to see Joseph Cotten again in Under Capricorn. The cameo was there, again, a little more subtle. If you didn't see it, it was at about 16 minutes, where his back is to you. He's playing cards, and he has all the cards all in a row in the spades. So it's worthwhile watching the video if you have the DVD of this, the making of Shadow of a Doubt, just because there's some neat narration. You get to see the actors. You get to see Teresa Wright, and she's great. She was great in this, and it is worth seeking her out, especially the movie Little Foxes, where she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. That's a Bette Davis movie. That's from a few years back. So yeah, she was good. We definitely loved the discussion of murder when the neighbor would come over and talk about the best ways to murder somebody. That was great, and I think they had fun with that. That's the point of these movies. You've got this psychological suspense thriller, but it's laced with little bits of comedy, and it really makes it worthwhile. Very well done. We saw the brandy. That was good. And again, go get the whiskey. She's fainted. And at what point in these movies, in 1960 or 1970, do they stop going to get whiskey when someone is injured or about to die or whatever? And we also saw our favorite little champagne glasses, so that was really cool. Yeah, this movie actually did get one Oscar nomination for Best Original Story for the fellow who wrote and it was really only apparently a 9-page document, this story called Uncle Charlie, but he gets an Oscar nomination for it, so that's pretty cool. Now, I wanted to talk briefly about them filming on location, because that's not something that Alfred Hitchcock did, and that's not something that Alfred Hitchcock does. There's a reason they did that here. Remember some of those movies we were doing, particularly Sabotage, where we're in London and we're watching that parade in London, and they're filming in London. Yet that whole scene was faked. It was in a country. It was in the countryside with a big painting of London, and it's like, you're in London, just film in London. But they never did that. It was always a pain. They always filmed on a soundstage. They always faked it. They never ever. They had something in Scotland. They didn't go to Scotland, so. Why'd they do that with this? Well, number one, I think, because it was fun, because Alfred Hitchcock wanted to come up here. He wanted to be in a small town. He wanted to capture the small town America, because he was learning about it. And really, didn't we just watch an American film? That was great. That was very well done. And what you have here is a person learning about the country that he's chosen to live in, and the country that he'll die in. He'll stay in England, or rather in the United States, and we're also in World War II, and one of the reasons they filmed on location, and specifically in this house. They found this house and thought it was perfect, and a lot of the scenes are around the house, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the dining room, which must have been a pain, because where did all the cameras fit? Where does all the lighting go? Was this. The new rules came in during World War II in Hollywood that a movie could actually only spend a certain amount of money creating new sets, because they didn't want using a lot of materials for movies when the materials could be better used for the war effort. And so very deliberately they went out of their way to not. There was a scene at the library. They did it at the library. They didn't build a new library for this one. Whereas certainly for something like Foreign Correspondent, everything was built. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building. They built, what did they build? They were in Holland. They built Holland. They built a whole new Holland for that, with bicycles and rain and all those buildings. So there was none of that with this. This was all on location, which I think was fun, if not a bit of a pain. Some of the things had to be recreated, and of course, just because they couldn't get the shot. But that was really cool. I couldn't believe Uncle Charlie was trying to kill little Charlie. I'm like, he's trying to whack little Charlie. So that was something. So. Anyways, yeah, that was great. And the other thing that we really noticed, or I noticed anyways, was that finally, and it's been a while, it seems like we're making a movie just for the movie's sake. there's no axe to grind anymore. There's no, we're talking about World War II and we're trying to generate interest, or we're trying to get people to be warned about the Nazis, or we're trying to win an Oscar, or we're trying to please, Selznick. This is just, let's make a great movie with a low budget, with great actors who are committed to it, and what do we get? Shadow of a Doubt. This isn't the first time I've seen this. I for some reason, I liked this one a lot more this time. You liked it the same. You liked it the first time, and you liked it just fine now. But for some reason, whereas for Mr. and Mrs. Smith as an example, I used to like it, but when we did it a few weeks ago, I just really didn't like it at all. So interesting, making a movie just for a movie's sake. And boy, that, with all the great movies that are to come, that's all it is. It's just, let's make a really great movie, and that's it. So good. Okay, so we're done with 1943. And speaking of really great movies, in 1943, the film that won Best Picture was Casablanca. And just as a coincidence, it happened to be on TCM yesterday, and we're flipping around, and boom, that's it. We know what we're doing for the next hour. And boy, if you're watching this and you've never seen Casablanca, stop what you're doing right now. Stop it, and watch Casablanca. They had no idea what they were making. It was just one of the 80 billion movies they were doing that year. Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Claude Rains, Paula Henreid. Everybody, Sidney Greenstreet, Peter Lorre, everybody is just perfect in this movie. I think I said yesterday, this is the greatest movie ever made in the history of the world. I say that a lot, but it is so good. Shadow of a Doubt is very, very good, and let's just leave it at that. So that won Best Picture. Paul Lucas, who was the evil doctor on Lady Vanishes, which we mentioned when we were also wearing giant stuff, he wins the Oscar in 1943 for his role in another World War II sort of sabotage-y kind of movie called Watch on the Rhine. So that's a little Hitchcock connection there. Another Hitchcock connection is Jennifer Jones wins Best Actress for Song of Bernadette. Anyways, that was David O. Selznick's wife for his latter years. They were together for years and years and years. They were married together. Anyways, in her first movie, she wins Best Actress for Song of Bernadette in this year. But a really, really great movie that we love too from this year is called The More the Merrier, and a fellow by the name of Charles Coburn wins Best Supporting Actor. He's an old guy in this one, and it is hilarious. If you're watching some of these old movies and you realize they're trying to be funny, it's not funny. It's because comedy is hard to do. One of our viewers left a comment about that humor from the 20s and 30s and 40s, it was hilarious then. It's just not funny now. This movie, The More the Merrier, is hilarious. It's subtle. It's very, very good. Jean Arthur's in that, right? And Joel McCrea, another Hitchcock connection. Wow, perfect. So Joel McCrea, Jean Arthur, and Charles Coburn in the movie The More the Merrier. Seek it out if you want to laugh at an old movie. So very good. That's great. That's it for 1943. So I'll be back next week with the movie Lifeboat from 1944. I think one of your favorites. She did a term paper on it back when she was in college, so she'll probably be reading it, or we'll scan it, get the PDF out. No, just kidding. But we look forward to that one. I haven't seen that one in a year probably, so I'm really excited to see Lifeboat. So good. So we'll see you next week for the next movie, Lifeboat. So from our couch to yours, we'll see you next week.